So, you want to be a host on Just Next Door?
Yes, it's been my dream for years. It's my favorite show.
Okay, well, do you know anything about the city?
Well, not really.
Oh boy, then we have a lot to learn. I'll tell you what, we actually have a brand new show to shoot right now. So sit with me for the next 30 minutes and we'll show you all the ins and outs of the city as we head just next door. Hello and welcome back to Just Next Door, the show that takes you inside and out of the Philadelphia area to show you what the city has to offer. I'm Fulani Ba, and this is my co-host in training. Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Aiden Tuczynski.
This camera, Aiden?
Oh, and I'm Aiden Tuczynski.
All right, we have a lot of work to do. Luckily, our crew put together some great packages that will give you a pretty good feel for the city. We went to some beautiful parks, shops, and restaurants all over Philadelphia. What more could you ask for?
That sounds great. Where are we going first?
We're going to start with the Shofusu Japanese House and Garden, located in West Fairmount Park. This historical site is home to a traditional Japanese tea house and koi pond. You definitely won't want to miss this.
Located in West Fairmount Park, Shofusu Japanese House and Garden offers Philadelphia a small glimpse into Japan, its culture, and its history.
I'm Candace Graham. I am the site manager here at Shofusu Japanese House and Garden. I take care of the daily operations. Shofusu itself was actually built for the Museum of Modern Art. It was part of a home and gardens exhibition. It was built in 1953 in Japan. Shofusu came to Philadelphia after the exhibit was done because there were previous Japanese exhibits and structures here. Starting in 1876 when we had our centennial celebration, the very first Japanese garden in North America was actually about 100 feet away from here. So Shofusu came here, reassembled, and it was open to the public in '58. So we're open from 10 to 4 now, just operating on the weekends in the fall. People come in, they can get a tour or get their questions answered by the visitor services assistants that are in our house. And then they can also enjoy the gardens that surround us. They could feed the koi when we're selling koi food and just enjoy the atmosphere and just learn a little bit about what we're about here. We're here. Check us out. We're pretty special. I always consider us a little hidden gem in Philly. We have people who come and visit us and say we've lived here for 50 years and never knew this place existed. And it is a little slice of Japan in Philadelphia.
So, Aiden, what did you think?
That was amazing. I never knew Philadelphia was so beautiful. Are there more places like this in the city?
Well, I'm glad you liked it, because yes, there's plenty more beautiful places to visit in the area. Just like this park we're about to visit, it's just as pretty, but sadly there are no fish. Germantown's Wakefield Park spans over 12 acres and is a great place to bring your dogs. Let's take a look.
Okay, look who's back. It's me. So after my last package, I got a bunch of people asking, who was that guy dancing behind me? I don't know. So what I did was I set up a bunch of trail cams to try and track him down so that maybe I can get an interview. Now, I'll be honest, it was really one of those great on-paper ideas because setting up a trail cam on a busy highway gave me a lot more than I needed. But sure enough, after 2 weeks and looking through thousands of pictures and footage, I found him. I got his general location right here to Wakefield. Let's get right into it. All right, so where would he go? Right now, I'm in a big open area that looks like a lot of fun. I know Aiden and Filani were talking about bringing pets here. I don't see any, but this could totally work for that. Speaking of animals in the park, let's go back to looking for our guy. Let's take a look right here. This looks like a really nice, relaxing spot in the shade. You know, if I were him, I'd probably be chilling here for a little bit. After all this advanced media production, I'm kind of exhausted too, so I think I'm gonna relax here just a little bit.
Man, I really hope he is here. If he's not, I think I'll go to Kemble Park next time.
So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't see our guy anywhere here. I've looked basically everywhere. I would look around more and I would show you the way back, but I'm already lost as it is, and I gotta keep this package under a minute 30. See ya.
Lonnie, that was amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to go to bring my dog there someday for a WALK.
Aiden, your dog isn't here. You don't have to spell that out.
Sorry, habit.
Well, luckily, we have one more perfect spot to bring your little furry friends. The Wissahickon Valley Park has 60 plus acres of woods and trails, and even a few historic landmarks to see while you're there.
If you're looking for the best way to spend a beautiful afternoon, the answer might only be a couple miles away. The Wissahickon Valley Park stretches through the Philadelphia region and beyond, offering the beautiful sights and sound that the city has to offer. Spanning 1,800 acres with 50 plus miles of trails, there's plenty to see within the park. One of these sites is the statue of Chief Teddy Escombe. Nestled within the treetops on Council Rock, the 15-foot limestone statue was carved in 1902 and looked over the Indian Rock Hotel, which opened in 1848. Over 120 years later, the statue still stands and is one of the most popular attractions within the park. But despite the landmarks, the park is a great place to go with your loved ones, your family, your friends, or just on a run or a bike ride. No matter the season, there's always something to see at the Wissahickon Valley Park.
Wow, a statue that's over 100 years old? I didn't even realize Philadelphia's been around that long.
Wow, Aiden, we have a lot to teach you. Good thing we have plenty more packages for you to watch. Do you at least feel comfortable introducing our next one?
Absolutely. I actually brought my own demo with me. Can I show you that one?
Of course.
Let's see here. Well, I was able to go to I was able to go to the Sproul Bookcase, a local bookstore that's located right in the heart of
It's pronounced Manayunk, Aiden.
Well, I guess we'll just go to there now.
I recently took a trip to Manayunk to visit the Spiral Bookcase, a bookstore with some very unique options for sale.
We really think that it's important for us to specialize in stuff that is just off of the beaten path. So queer, feminist, radical, anything along those lines. And a lot of it is just being in community with people, whether it's on social media or here in Philly, and knowing the people whose opinions and ideas we really value and think are special. And then eventually, when a book comes out of it, we already know the people and we're already there and ready.
The Spiral Bookcase also sells many other items outside of books, ranging from bath salts to candles to other things that clients recommend.
So I have a point of view and I have things that I value and that I want to lift up and kind of put in front of people, and so does our head bookseller, Monica. So I think that an independent bookstore should have a taste, should have a point of view, right? But then it's also really important to be in community with the people around you, whether it's literally people who live down the street or just people who are really into the kind of vibe that you have.
At the end of the day, though, the most important part about the store is the books.
There's a lot of people who like to read as kids, and then it sort of gets beaten out of us because we have to read so much into school. Particularly if you go into higher education, you're just reading so much and it loses its magic. And at Spiral, we are all about whether you have to find that magic again or be introduced to that magic. There is so much wonder and magic in books, and we just...
Manayunk. Oh, we're back. The Sproul Bookcase is the perfect spot for readers of all ages, and they would love for you to stop by and enjoy a book.
That was great, Aiden. What did you think of your time down there?
It was definitely very cool. There were so many great options, a lot of local authors as well. They do poetry readings all the time. It was just a very inviting, warm place, and I hope more people go to look at it. I also hope that people look at the books that they have, because like I said, they've got authors of all different types. There's also some like witches stuff as well, which is kind of interesting, so definitely a cool place to check out.
Great. With the cold weather upon us, I'm glad I had time to curl up under a blanket with a good book, because we're now headed to the Benjamin Rush Park in Northeast Philly. So grab your jacket and let's check it out.
Welcome to Benjamin Rush State Park, right off of Roosevelt Boulevard in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Benjamin Rush Park is known for its wide open spaces where you can always see the beautiful sunset. This state park is a place where you can go on a stroll with your dog or ride your bike down every path. And if you dig just a little bit, you can find new adventures that could have been hidden unless you were trying to find them. Although this park might lack the color you would see towards the beginning of fall, there are still beautiful places to see and hear while venturing through Benjamin Rush Park. If you were coming here towards the end of spring and the beginning of summer, you would be able to see the community garden that is kept by the Benjamin Rush Garden Association. And even though you don't see much life within the plants and trees, there is plenty more life to see and even try to get close enough to. And look at that, another beautiful sunset you can only find here at Benjamin Rush State Park.
Amazing. I'm gonna have to find some free time myself and head down there.
But first, Aiden, it's that time. You want to give an interview a shot?
Well, I could try. Who am I interviewing?
Bob Cooney, a sports radio host here in Philadelphia. Do you think you can handle that?
Definitely. I love sports. Let's start right now.
Well, we need to take a quick break. But when we come back, you'll get to learn all you need to know about Philly sports and sports radio. Stick around.
Extinction is forever. To save America's most iconic and imperiled species from extinction, we must fight for their future. Fight to save the natural lands that wildlife call home. Fight to limit pollution. Fight for smart development. Fight for their future. And fight for ours. For so goes nature, so goes us.
Those were the days. We'd cruise down drags with our favorite bands. And every night we had standing dates with the same friends. We hustled, we bumped, we bus stopped, and we smoked all the time. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now. Visit screenyourlungs.org today.
Welcome back. It's time to dive into the world of sports. Today we are joined by Bob Cooney. Bob works as a co-host for the morning sports show on 97.5 The Fanatic. He got his start at the Daily News, where he covered Big Five sports and then moved to the Sixers beat. Bob, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Aiden. I appreciate it.
So we're going to start off first. You went from covering the Big Five sports, which is all college sports in the Philadelphia area, to covering the Sixers beat. What was that transition like for you?
It was fun. I spent a lot of time up here at LaSalle. Covered their basketball team for a while, so it's always good to make your connections in the city, and there's a lot of basketball connections here. So still friendly with a lot of people that I connected with during those days covering the Big Five, and then moved on and covered the Sixers for about 10 years. So traveled with the team everywhere they went, a lot of traveling over the years, and again, just being around the NBA, basketball's my first true love, and it was great. Haven't worked a day in my life, Aiden. It's all been fun.
Yeah, that's definitely a big part of finding a job you love, is you just get to...
That's not a job if you find something you love, Aiden.
That's very good advice. So you talked, like you just said, covering the Big Five. It's different than covering the Sixers. Obviously, LaSalle's a Big Five school, so what was that like?
They had some lean years when I was covering them, but it was great. Like I said, John Giannini was a coach here for a while when I was covering the team, and he's remained a lifelong friend. The players, some of the players that came through here, I still keep in touch with, and it was always good. It's always good to come up here. The crowds back then were decent, and the program was growing, and then they had a magical run in 2016, I believe it was. And it was funny, I was covering the 76ers at the time, and LaSalle made it to the Sweet 16. I was in California, watched the game, saw that LaSalle was made it to the Sweet 16, and LaSalle was coming out to California. So I called my boss. I was supposed to fly to Denver and then come home, and I said, no, how about if I stay here in California, wait for LaSalle? So I did that, called John Giannini. I said, listen, I need exclusive coverage on you. I need to be with you 24/7. He said, no problem. Be at my hotel room, 6 o'clock in the morning. We'll watch film together, all that. So that's what I did. I was embedded with the team for 3 or 4 days, got to talk to all the players, all the practices, and it was a great time.
As it sort of brought you back to covering your college days when
Exactly,
you were
yeah.
freshman.
And I just thought it was important for the city that I knew John very well. I knew the team very well. So why not stay out there? They came out, and it was a perfect coverage, yeah.
Yeah, very almost lucky coincidence, you would say?
It was, and thank God my bosses were lenient enough that when I called them and said, I just think this is the better thing to do, let me stay out here with LaSalle. Somebody else can keep an eye on the Sixers, who were horrible at the time anyway. So that's what I did, and LaSalle had a magical run. Lost out there in Los Angeles, but a great time.
That's awesome. So now you cover the Sixers for the Fanatic. What's made you stick with the Sixers for so long?
Just kind of basketball was my sport. You know, I played it growing up. I played it in high school, played a year at junior college, coached high school for 10 years. Just always my sport. And when I started at the Daily News, I wasn't a sports writer, Aiden. I wrote for our features department. And our sports editor came up to me and said, go out, find a story, write the story, and if it lands in the paper, I'll bring you over to the sports department. And I did that. I wrote a story, and I went in on Monday, and he threw the paper down on my desk and said, you made the paper, you're in the sports department. So I've been, you know, covering sports ever since then.
That's awesome. And you said that you love basketball. What especially about basketball makes you love it so much?
I don't know. I guess the fact that I played it all my life and coached it, as I said, but it's just the knowledge of the game that I've picked up through the years from people like John Giannini, people that came through LaSalle, learning about basketball, sitting through many, many practices and games. I just love the X's and O's of it and the entertainment of it.
So you've been in Philly for a very long time covering.
I'm not that old, Aiden.
Well, compared to me, it's been a long time. So what's it been like covering Philadelphia sports, which is known as one of the greatest sports cities in the country, if not the world?
I would say it is the best in the country. And I don't say that lightheartedly. I've been all over the country covering the Sixers. I've been on talk radio shows all over the country. So I listen to them. And I listen to the fandom, and I see the fandom. It's nothing like Philadelphia. And you guys will get to learn it now and see it now that you're getting into the business. Philadelphia's like no other when it comes to sports fans. That can be good and it can be bad, and it can be tough. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, so what made you stay in Philly for so long? You talked about that you've been all over the country. You've seen pretty much everywhere in the sports world. What made you stay here?
Nobody else offered me a job, Aiden. This was it, just Philadelphia, so I got stuck here. But no, it was great. I was lucky enough to land at the Daily News at a young age. Right after taking classes in college, I got there, and then eventually moved up to the sports department, as I said, and was a sports writer for 25 years. And like I said, it's not a job if you love it, Aiden, and it was never a job to me. I loved it there. And then the world of sports talk radio got in touch with me and asked me if I would. I'd been doing, you know, guest spots on sports talk radio for years. And they got in touch with me and asked me if I'd like to be a full-time host on the show. And now we do the John Kincaid Show, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every day.
Yeah, so 6 to 10 a.m., that's a pretty rough stretch of time to be on. What has that been like for you to sort of try to process of waking up that early?
Yeah, I've never worked normal hours, okay? Even at the newspaper when you're a sports writer, games are at night, so you're working day through night, a lot of hours. Yeah, 6 a.m., a 3:30 wake-up call isn't the greatest every day, Aiden, I have to be honest with you. But again, when you love doing something, it's not that hard.
Yeah, and then quick last question. Obviously, the Sixers are just getting underway. What are your predictions for them for this season?
Thought they're 7-7 so far. I thought they'd be a lot better. I think they will be once James Harden comes back. Joel Embiid is just one of the greatest players in the world. So you have a treasure in him. So I don't make the playoffs. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, well, it's been awesome having you on, Bob. Thanks so much for joining us. When we come back, we're going to head to a couple more pretty cool spots just next door. So stick around because you won't want to miss it.
People join Walk MS to raise awareness and funds that change the world for everyone affected by multiple sclerosis. MS attacks the brain and spinal cord. It's the most common neurological disease leading to disability in young adults. Walk MS brings communities together, creating teams with friends, loved ones, and coworkers to rally around those we care about and end MS forever. Join us. Together we are stronger. Walk MS fundraising accelerates research breakthroughs and life-changing breakthroughs. It will take all of our passion, determination, and fundraising to end MS forever. Together, we can change the world for people with MS. Join us. Register today, start a team, and raise funds at walkms.org.
Hello again, and welcome back to Just Next Door. Very nicely done, Aiden. I think you might be getting the hang of this.
Thank you, Lonnie. But I still want to see a few more places around Philly.
Well, you're in luck. We are now going to head to Keswick Village. Keswick is located only a few short miles outside of Philadelphia, and our crew was able to take us there to show us what they have to offer.
Keswick Village is located just outside of Philadelphia and is home to the historic Keswick Theater, as well as a number of different types of restaurants and stores. I talked to Kevin Garvin, who's lived here his whole life, on his experience growing up in Keswick.
Yeah, I've lived here my whole life, 20 years. It's great, I love it here.
I asked Kevin how much has changed over the years.
It really hasn't changed much. I mean, businesses come and go, but it's still as beautiful as ever. I'd have to say my favorite place is right here inside Weldon, the baseball fields. I grew up playing baseball, and this is what I called home for all those years.
There is a number of food options to choose from when you're in Keswick. I asked Kevin his personal favorite places to eat at in the Keswick Village.
My favorite places to eat are Bullseye Burger and the Weldon Soda Fountain. The Soda Fountain has the best ice cream in all of Montgomery County.
Lastly, Kevin shares with me what makes Keswick Village so special.
It's a beautiful place, it's a real tight-knit community, and there's always something to do no matter what.
What a cute little spot to visit during any season. I can't wait to go.
Yeah, that looks like such a cool place to go shopping.
And speaking of shops...
If you don't mind, I've got this one, Lonnie. It looks like we're going to be heading to Digital Underground, a record store in Philadelphia that's a little more than meets the eye.
Not bad, Aiden. Not bad.
Take a trip with me to 732 South 4th Street as we visit Reliquary, a record store that is home to more than just music.
So here at Reliquary, we are 3 different stores. Over on Vinyl Altar, we sell hard rock, heavy metal. Over at Digital Underground, we do goth, industrial, electronic, ambient, and soundtracks. And at Dark Depth Games, we do Magic, Warhammer, Pokemon, and tabletop supplies, all sorts of gaming supplies. We do, on the music side, CDs, vinyl. We have some of the biggest selection of metal and goth industrial music on the East Coast. People travel from all over the area to come and visit our store. We host events here 2 days a week. On Tuesdays, we host gaming events for Magic the Gathering. We have Commander Nights on Tuesdays from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. You can come out and play for free. We have tables open all throughout the store, and you can come in and just walk on in and play. All we ask is that you bring a mask and proof of vaccination.
I just come in here to buy Magic the Gathering stuff. I usually buy single cards, Magic singles, but the staff is awesome. Joe, Gibby, and Carlo just kind of brainstorm with me, help me pick out cards to make like the best decks or make the most competitive decks. And the staff is super friendly here.
Come on in and play all sorts of different games as long as it fits on a table. We're happy to come and play it.
Where's my invite? I love playing Magic the Gathering.
I'm sure you do, Aiden. But before you start casting any spells, we still have one more place to go.
Okay, perfect. I'm getting a little hungry though. There's no chance the next spot is a place for food, is there?
Well, sort of. But I think you'll be okay. I was able to head to the Ground Coffee, Plants and Gifts to see what they had to offer. And while this place marks the end of our day, it might just be the perfect spot to start yours.
We talked to some mentors about opening a coffee shop, and one of the things that came back to us in that feedback was it'd be nice to have a retail side to the coffee shop, and plants both sounded great to us. We have a lot of fun with them. So we thought, what about a coffee shop and a plant shop? And as we were developing that idea, the bubble tea kind of came into the picture, like, let's add bubble tea. So that's how it all came together.
2nd Street in North Philadelphia houses the Ground Coffee, Plants, and Gifts.
On a day-to-day basis, I'd be out here slinging drinks. We have boba tea, we have lattes, we have cold brew, we have croffles, which is like a nice little croissant that we heat up like on a waffle iron, and kind of just make sure everything looks good.
And then we have a retail side, so we have plants and pots and a few plant-related gifts for everyone.
Ground Coffee, Plants and Gifts has only been around for about a year, so I was curious, how has social media helped them?
Social media has been really helpful for us. So Instagram is the main area where we post reels and pictures, especially if we have a special. We like to put our drinks on there, and our Instagram is the Ground CPG. And then we also have been trying to get onto TikTok and do a little more with TikTok, and it's the same username, the Ground CPG there as well.
For information, you can visit thegroundcpg.com or any of their social medias. Oh, sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, that looked delicious, Lonnie. Were you lucky enough to try anything while you were there?
Yeah, it was great.
Perfect. Well, my stomach is growling now. I saw you over there for something quickly.
Well, I say we head over there and celebrate over a cup of coffee.
What are we celebrating?
You're getting the job, Aiden. Welcome to the Just Next Door crew.
Wow, this is the best day of my life. I had so much fun today learning about your amazing city, from your parks to your restaurants to your Philly sports teams. Philly is really amazing.
Well, that does it for this episode of Just Next Door. Don't forget to check us out on social media. You can follow us on Instagram at LaSalle TV. We would love to hear your comments and suggestions. From all of us here at Just Next Door, I'm Fulani Ba.
And I'm Aiden Tiksinski. Thanks for watching, and we can't wait to see you next time on Just Next Door. Man, I love my new job.